Thank you. All right, so back to, she's a graduate of economics from Olabisi Onabanjo University, formerly Ogun State University. Ayodeji is an authorized dealing clerk of the Nigerian Stock Exchange, NSE, an associate of Chartered Institute of Stockbrokers, CIS, and Chartered Institute of Securities and Investment, CISI UK. She's passionate about helping people manage and multiply money. She believes that wealth is the inheritance of every believer as a result of the finished work of Christ. Wait, sorry, I'm coming. Hence, no one is with excuse. Shh, I'm coming, please. Achieving financial security ranks as a major source of anxiety. Ayodeji loves to help people structure their personal finances. I'm coming, hold on. I'm coming, please. And ensure maximum returns on their financial resources. She's the lead coach at Money Matters with Fresh, an online platform for educating individuals about their personal finances. She currently works with the financial difficulties team at BNP Paribas Personal Finance UK. She is married to Tunde Success Oshideko, and they are blessed with 3 amazing men. I would like to thank you so much. I call her PP. Thank you so much for agreeing to do this with us. So I'll leave the stage for her right away. Thank you.
Thank you very much, and good evening, everyone. Okay, it's still afternoon. It's nice to be here today. If you can hear me, if you can see me, just send me a hi in the chat section. Are we here? Are we ready? Hello.
Yes, yeah.
Awesome. Yeah. Thank you for confirming, and you can hear me clearly. You can see me. I'm going to share my screen right about now. Please bear with me. All right, so it says the host has disabled the participant sharing screen. You'd need to please.
Yeah, let me make you the host.
Thank you. And how are you doing today?
Very fine.
Awesome. Nice to know.
You want to try that now?
All right, right away. Please bear with me. I'm wondering why it's appearing this way. Can you see my screen yet, though?
Yes, I can see your screen.
Wanted to put it on slide mode. I'm wondering why it's coming up this way. Please bear with me, and I'll be right back with yourself.
All right, ma'am.
Okay, you can see the screen at the moment, can't you? Can you?
Yes, yes, it's
okay. I actually need it to be in slide mode. I don't know what's happening with the sharing here. So please just give me a few moments and I'll be right back. Thank you.
All right, ma'am.
Sincere apologies, I'll be sharing the screen now. Please let me know as soon as you're able to view my screen. Awesome.
Yes, you can see now.
Awesome. Thank you very much for confirming that. So good afternoon once again, everyone. It's nice to be here today. And yes, my name is Ayodeji Oshideko. I'm an investment banker with over 17 years experience. And yes, I also live in the United Kingdom. So it's nice to be here with you all. And yes, I love the initiative here. I recall asking from the person that invited me at Tinuke, what's the name of the group? And she said Parents Supporting Parents in the United Kingdom. Wow. You know, living in the United Kingdom can actually be very, very lonely. So I'm so in love with this initiative of supporting one another. This is such an amazing and a commendable initiative. All right, so I relocated to the United Kingdom myself just a little over 2 years ago. I want this session to be as interactive as possible. So yes, if you can use your chat, I believe everyone can. We have about 37 of us on this chat today. I'd like for you to tell me, how long have you been in the United Kingdom? That will be my first question today. I have a second one, but I think I'll just get started. How long have you been in the United Kingdom? I'll go to the chat room to see that. Okay. Someone says 7 years, 3 months. Oh, wow. Interesting. Amazing. Awesome. 2 years, 5 years. Amazing. You see why we all need each other. This is such a journey that you don't want to embark all by yourself, because there's a lot to learn. Wow. We have people less than 1 year. We have 1 month. We have 15 years. Okay, so I bet the people with 16 years already we call them the Briticos. They should have a whole lot to share with us today. But I already like the energy that I'm seeing. Someone initially said my volume was low. Is it much better now? Hello? Volume is fine. Thank you very much for confirming that to myself. Awesome. So we'll just get right to it at this moment. Today, I've been asked to speak on the title, Building a Strong Financial Foundation in the United Kingdom. In the United Kingdom. Like I did say, I've also been here just a little over 2 years, and I believe and I've come to realize that there's a whole lot to learn. For some of us, it was quite a shock, cultural shock and all sorts, coming into a new environment, having to learn how things work differently in this climate. And one of the things I've come to understand is that you've got to always evolve even as an individual. When you get into an organization or you get into a new community, it's important that you take time to understand how things work in those climes. So I like to give the example of myself. I worked with one of the top investment management firms in Nigeria before I relocated to the United Kingdom. It was a subsidiary of a bank. And yes, I rose among the ranks, and and in the year August 2021, I relocated for the United Kingdom. I knew that, yes, I needed certain level of understanding to know how financial assets work here. Recall that prior to then, I've had over 15-year work experience in the financial services sector in Nigeria before relocating. But then getting into these clients, I needed to understand how things work. And, when we have one another to leverage on, when we have each other to learn from, to lean on, it also makes the journey better. And that's why I'm so in love with what we're trying to do on this platform and with this initiative. Once again, to everyone who's just joining, I see about 41 of us now on the call, so I think it's a good time for me to get started. So we'll be talking on the theme, building a strong financial foundation in the United Kingdom. I love the word foundation, right? I believe that I'm a person of faith, and there's a scripture that says that except if the foundation be destroyed, what can the righteous do? As far as complex or as far as building is concerned, foundation is very critical. Whatever it is you want to build, whether it's in parenting, it's your career, it's a business, it's a family, it's marriage, everything, every area of our life, right? Whatever it is that you want to build, it's important that you pay attention to foundation, because if the foundation is faulty, no matter what you build on top of that foundation, it's going to crumble. It's going to crumble. So foundation is very important. And there are always critical things that need to be done, especially at the early stage of building any structure. And like I did say, the structure might be marriage, it might be parenting, it might be your career, your business, your personal work with God. For every area of our life, it's important that we are intentional. So I'm just quickly going to get through to the topic of the day, and please bear with me. I'm wondering why. Can you still see my screen? All right, so we will be talking about personal finance today, right? And I'm going to be speaking to quite a number of things. For many of us, I believe that we are people with family. So yes, I try to define whether it's family finance or personal finance. It's basically defined as financial management, which an household performs to budget, save, spend, invest, and protect their monetary resources over a period of time. Right? There's a saying that it takes finance to run romance. It even takes a higher level of finance to run a home or a family. Right? And so personal finance or family finance is a financial management that includes 5 elements which we have listed in the definition we gave today. It involves managing, it involves budgeting, saving, spending, investing, and protecting your monetary resources over a period of time. However, in doing these things, you must take into consideration 2 major things. The first is your financial risk, as well as the second being the future life events. One of the things I like to say at this point is that personal finance is personal to you as an individual. Your family finance is a personal concept. It's not something you can cut and paste, because your personal family experience or life experience is going to be different from mine. What your family wants to achieve financially is always going to be different from what every other family wants to achieve. So it is very expedient that as an individual, as a family, you understand what your family's future life events are about. It is based on these personal life circumstances that you will then be structuring your family's finance or personal finance. We're going to be talking also about financial risk, right? Much later in the course of the event of this session. But one of the things I wanted to establish this morning is the fact that family finance or personal finance has 5 elements, which involves budgeting, saving, spending, investing, and protecting your monetary resources. Next, I'll move to the statistics. So many of us, I want to believe, where did you relocate from to the United Kingdom? Recall that I said that this is going to be a very interactive session. The reason why I'm asking these questions are also so that I can structure the things that I'm saying alongside what. So we have many people. So I have Nigeria. Okay, are we all Nigerians? I'm looking to see Kenyans, Ghanaians. All right, so I have mostly people, for most of the people that I have who have sent in a chat or responses, amazing. I have someone from UAE, Niger. So most of us, of course, relocated from Nigeria, and I'm sure you'll have an understanding of what's currently happening in the country. We're not going to be talking about Nigeria today, even though we'll get a few, we would be touching around a few things. During the course of the week, it was announced that inflation in Nigeria is now 29.9%, up from 28.9%. Of course, during the course of the week, of course, I'm sure that you now understand, you have an idea of what the exchange rate of Naira to a pound is in the region of about 2,000 for pounds and 1,500 for dollars. So things are happening globally. And I'm sure for some people, they say, Mutijapa, it's not so necessarily about you being out of the country. I'm sure for most of us, we didn't come here with all of our extended family members. So you still have a stake as far as the country is concerned. But then we're going to be talking about you, about your personal finance and your personal financial management, and how you need to set the right foundation as far as your journey or your financial journey in the United Kingdom is concerned. Some of the statistics that I did see online is the fact that around 14.4 million people were living in poverty in the United Kingdom in the year 2021/2022. And that implies that a whopping 20% of people living in the United Kingdom live in extreme poverty. It says that 1 in every 5 people are poor, extremely poor. And I will explain what extreme poverty means, because we have 2 types of poverty. We have extreme poverty, we have relative poverty. Coming into the country, maybe I'm also the kind of person that's pro-Nigeria. I know that recently my husband was like, the reason why we didn't leave Nigeria in good time. I'm pro-Nigeria. I just love my Nigeria. I see myself back in Nigeria even in a number of years' time, once I'm done achieving my purpose here, right? But I said that to say that it's also when you get into a new environment or location, there are ways things are done in different clients, and it's important that we are sensitive to the things that are happening in our environment if we must thrive in those economies. Now, we had COVID happen how many years ago? 2019, December. And whilst the world was trying to cope and manage with COVID and adapt to the things that came with COVID, then we have the Russia-Ukraine war. And when that war happened, many people didn't have an understanding of the impact that war was going to have on themselves as well as on their disposable income. And by disposable income, it means your income net of your tax. So many of us didn't understand how that was going to impact world economies in terms of world oil prices as well as commodity prices. We then saw the economies of many organizations or many countries trying to increase interest rates because inflation was on the high. We are going to break down all of these principles. I just thought to say that the fact that you have jackpot into United Kingdom means that you must be sensitive about the way things work in the United Kingdom. If you look around, in fact, there are houses, some sort of houses that I don't see even in other climes or back home, and you see poverty everywhere. And the kind of person that poverty just irritates me, right? And you see it everywhere, and like, oh my God, I even expect that the figures are higher than the 20% we are seeing here. So what is extreme poverty? According to the World Bank, extreme poverty refers to a situation whereby a person earns less than $1 a day. So based on this fact, it says 14.4 million people in the UK are extremely poor. That represents 20% of the population. These harrowing figures, right, these ridiculous figures were even captured before the cost of living crisis that took a toll on the world as a result of so many other things that happened, majorly the Russia-Ukraine war. So the situation is far worse. If you are very observant or if you're keeping abreast of information, you know that during the course of this week, it was announced that the United Kingdom is now in a technical recession. Now, a recession refers to a situation where a country has reported 2 consecutive quarters of negative growth. So you got to be to understand. So I have a sister-in-law, my brother's wife and his brother. My brother and his wife live here. They relocated before myself. And my sister-in-law would say, you know what? For many years, you can have the price of a particular product for the same amount, amount for up to 3, 4, 5 years. The prices are always constant, stable. You know how much you'll be spending on groceries. But today, even for me that relocated 2021, when I go into Aldi and I spend £50, I know how much I have in my cart. Compared to now, it's almost doubled. So you've got to be sensitive. You've jackpot, but you've got to be sensitive for you to know how things work in this climate so that you can thrive in this climate. Poverty basically is defined as a state. So the kind of poverty that World Bank tried to explain is extreme, where people earn less than $1. But poverty basically is defined as the state of lacking sufficient money to live at a standard that is considered comfortable or normal in the society, right? So if you are not able to meet your needs as they arise, and live at a standard that is considered to be comfortable in this society, then you are poor. It's called relative poverty. I know that many of us relocated, and I want to stimulate us. I want to encourage us on this platform that you must never think low of yourself. As far as this economy is concerned, you also have a share as far as being abundant or being financially prosperous is concerned. It's something that is within your reach. It's just to know is to be aware of the know-how. Now, I'm going to say a number of things on this call, but before I proceed, I'll just like to speak to a story, or I always like to speak about my personal life experience. I'm from a family of 4 children. I'm the first child. I'm the only girl child. So it means I have 3 junior ones. For the most part of my growing up life, my father worked with Shell Petroleum. So you would say that I was a relatively comfortable kid. Of course, if your father is in oil and gas, it just implies that you're a relatively comfortable kid. Now, my mom, on the other end, comes from a large, closely knitted family of 30 children. It was a polygamous family, but they were closely knitted. They were also knitted as in so closely knitted a family. Now, my mom happens to be the 30th child in the family. So she was the baby of the house. You dare not touch her where our brothers are concerned, and our sisters and other siblings. Now, remember that I said that my father worked with Shell Petroleum for the most part of his career and most part of our growing up life, meaning we're comfortable. And every month, I remember that my dad would give monies to my mom to save for my brothers and I, all four of us. Today, as I'm speaking, I can still remember it was a blue passport. It had UBA written in yellow because UBA used to be yellow. Their logo used to have some yellow, whatever. And so growing up, I just had that feeling that I was going to grow up to be a rich kid. And after all, my parents were saving for me. On the other hand, remember that my mom also, that I did say, come from a large closely knitted family where they are all closely connected. My mom's family they come from a place called Ijebu-Ode in Ogun State. My nuclear family lived in Ijebu-Ode in Ogun State. So when my mom's siblings come for their quarterly family meeting, their annual family church harvest, or our siblings come to Ijebu-Ode, Ijebu-Ode means a place of party, like Ode celebration. So our siblings were always having to come around. Growing up, we were used, my brothers and I, my siblings and I were used to getting monetary gain. So in my mind, poverty did never sank. My parents were doing well. Of course, my mom was a teacher because she had to stay back at home with us while Popsy travels to Warri. At times he's onshore, he's offshore. When he's offshore, he's home with us. So in my mind, my mindset was, I'm going to grow up to be a rich kid. There is no how. My dad is always saving for us. He gives mommy money to save for us. All the money we receive. In fact, there were times I was like, Mommy, where is all our money? She said, you know where your money are. Your money is in the bank. So if your money is in the bank as a child, you just have that idea, that mindset that, we'll owe it today. Meaning money has come, for the sake of those who are non-Nigerians on this call. So fast forward to when I was in 300 level in the university, I was studying economics. So yes, I'm an economist also by training. My immediate junior brother was in 100 level studying medicine. So Momsi decided to hand over the operations of our bank accounts to us. Of course, as a university babe, you will hear that your bank account will be handed over to you. I had expectations, right? I was a university babe. I had plans for the money. So my brother and I traveled from school. We went home. We went with Momsi to the bank. We filled the necessary account opening documentation. And at the end of the day, the account officer handed over slips. They handed over to us slips containing our bank balance. My brethren on this call, by the time I was giving that slip, I looked at it. I was disappointed at the amount that was stated therein. I was so disappointed. I was embarrassed. Like, for all, I'm very certain that the money that we were given on the day we were christening. So my mom is such a dedicated person. If you give her 10 naira today, that same 10 naira, come back 10 years time, is the same 10 naira she's going to give to you. So she's not the kind of person that you say, save this money for me. I knew she was dedicated to ensuring that the funds that Popsy gave her, all the funds we got from gifts that were given by uncles, visitors, were saved. I'm sure the money that was made, were given on the day my brothers and I were christened, was part of the money there. So it wasn't a case of Momsy mismanaging our monies. She did put them in a savings account. When I got the slip containing my bank balance, I looked at it. Remember, I was already studying economics in the university. So I had an understanding of the workings of the value of money and what would have happened. I knew that it was inflation that had eaten deep into the value of my funds. Now, one of the things I did, I made 2 resolutions that day. The first resolution I did make was that I was going to be on a quest, on the pursuit to know how well to maximize funds out of my financial resources. And that when I do stumble on it, or when I do find out, I don't care. I was going to be all out to tell anyone who cared to know about how to maximize their maximize returns from their financial resources. And that is what landed me in the investment banking industry, because this is what I do. This is what I'm passionate about. The second decision I made that day was that I was never going to save for any of my kids. Today, I have 3 boys, ages 16, 13, and 10. And none of them has a bank account, because I learned from my parents' experience to know how better or how well to maximize returns out of my financial resources. So those were the two decisions I made that day. Now, I said that to let you know about a particular concept. And that concept is called the concept of inflation. Whatever country of the world you live in, you've got to have an idea of what the level of inflation in that country is. Whether it's in the United Kingdom, is in Scotland, Wales, wherever in the United Kingdom you are, it's important that you understand what is the level of inflation. When it's released every month, you have an idea. Do you know why you need to? Because every time you invest your financial resources at a level that is lower than inflation in the clime or country where you live, it is termed as being in negative real return. So you're already in a negative position because the returns you're earning on your money is lower than inflation, meaning the increase in the prices of goods and services is higher than what you are earning. So you've got to understand today, and the first assignment I'm giving everyone on this platform is, what is the level of inflation, or what is the current inflation rate in the United Kingdom? You must know it. You've got to be aware. It all starts about awareness. That is the first foundation that you need to build where your finance is concerned. Awareness of the factors that affect the value of your funds. I'll break down the concept of inflation. Inflation is an economic term. It involves an increase and a decrease. An increase in the sense that inflation is defined as an increase in the value of goods and services over a period of time. The price of an item sometime this time last year in Aldi, Asda, or wherever you shop is not going to be the price today. Go check it out. I'm sure we've constantly heard about cost of living crisis, right? So you've got to be aware that there is a thief of the value of funds. I remember that I said inflation is an increase. So it's an increase in the value of goods and services. It also represents a decrease in the purchasing power of your money. So if this time last year you were earning £2,000, and this time today you're still earning £2,000, but the price of items have increased astronomically between last year and this year, it means the value, what your £2,000 earnings can afford, has now reduced. That is what it means, that inflation is a thief of the value of your funds, or a reduction in the purchasing power of your funds. If you're here with me, let me just know you're here. I'm heading to the chat room to see what we have there. All right. Are you still here? Thank you very much for confirming that. And so today, the first thing I said is it's important for you to be aware of what inflation rate is in your country. It's important that whenever you ever think of investing your funds, you must invest. So the first thing you must put, anytime you are investing, invest at a rate that is higher than inflation. Because lower than inflation means you are investing at a negative real return. And that means you're like my parents. Okay, you're not even like my parents now. Yours is lower because at least they were stacking the money in savings account. You're like my grandfather who will put his funds in a pillow or under the ground. So beware of inflation. That will be my first point to us. Now, I'm sure that on the screen, you can see my well-marinated barbecue chicken. If you can see it, please let me know. Atinuke, can anyone see my chicken? Okay, I'm going to. Looks delicious. Thank you. Awesome. Awesome. Thank you. Awesome. So I just brought this out of the oven. I felt that we have a session this afternoon. Parents supporting parents in UK. I needed to support you on this call as well. Now, a wise man once said that when your salary comes in time, you eat chicken, which means that you don't think about your needs. You meet your needs and your wants and eat everything as you want. It says that as the salary reduces, you begin to eat products of chicken. You cannot afford all of those things that you could afford on the week where your salary came. It says you begin to eat products of chicken like eggs. It says, subsequently, you begin to eat chicken's food. You cannot even afford chicken, neither can you afford eggs. You now begin to eat maize and millet. It now says, and finally, when your salary is finished, you now become the chicken itself, spending your time walking and wandering about, looking for just what to eat. And many of them wander to us, trying to ask us to lend them money, to loan them funds. Right. So it's important to know that you can eat your chicken, whether you're a family person here or you're an individual, where your personal finance is concerned. You can eat chicken any time of the month, but this has to come with ensuring that you have planned financially. With adequate financial planning, you can eat your chicken, meet your needs and your wants at any point in time. But financial planning is very important. And that is why today on this call, I will be charging us. I will just be explaining a few things. I'm just here to stimulate and charge us and speak to us about a number of things where our personal finance is concerned. And my first charge to us, parents supporting parents in United Kingdom. My first charge to us is that you must have a desire to prosper. Some people have no desire whatsoever concerning any area or aspect of their life. Parenting, no desire. Work with God, nothing. Career, let's just do it. Like my parenting coach would say, anyhowness, right? There's no desire whatsoever for any area of life. No aspiration to succeed. The truth is that nothing happens in a vacuum. Nothing. Scripture says in Ecclesiastes 3 verse 11, right? It says that wherever a tree falls, that is where the tree will be, whether to the north or to the south. Parents supporting parents in UK, it's important to know that life, nothing happens in a vacuum, right? Nothing happens by default. We make things happen. And where your personal finance is concerned, things will just not happen by default. You've got to aspire to prosper. You've got to have a desire to want to succeed where your finances is concerned, right? Don't be intimidated by the people in your office or in your environment or by the color of their skin, right? You've got to desire to prosper, and that desire must reflect in your kind of financial goals you're setting. Do you have a financial goal? How much does your family want to, or you as an individual want to have in terms of net worth? You've been here for 1 year. What do you have to show for it? You've been here for 15 years. What do you have to show for it financially? What are your family's financial goals for the next 1 year, for the next 2 years, for the next 5 years? Your financial goals are proof of your desire to prosper. And there's a saying that you cannot, until you set a goal, it takes setting a goal to score one. So you can't be talking about financial prosperity or having a foundation without having financial goals. What are your family's financial goals? I've not even started to work. And so what? Start setting the goals. That is you putting things in place. You know, many of us as people of faith, we pray and pray. And then one day the Holy Spirit said to me, you're praying to be blessed in every denomination of the country, of the world, but you don't even have a domiciliary account. Guess what? That thing, it shook me. I immediately went to open a bank account, a domiciliary dollar account. Guess what? The very month I saved it, I opened a domiciliary account in dollar, was the first month in my entire grown-up life that I got my first gift as dollar. A dollar gift. Someone had to travel into the country because I put structure in place. Even if you've not started to work here, set goals for yourself, set financial goals for your family. This is where we want to be 3 years from now, 5 years from now. This is our network in pounds. This is our network in whatever currency it is you want it. Of course, we use maybe between euros and pounds, right? Set financial goals. It is the proof of your desire to prosper. It takes setting a goal to score one. My second charge to parents supporting parents in UK is that money is a reward. Economics 101. Money is defined basically as a medium of exchange for goods or services. What products are you offering? what goods, what services. You've got to be offering something for you to be able to get money. Money can come as a gift, but basically, money is reward for a good sold or service being offered. So I ask you on the platform today, what are you giving in exchange for money? My husband, who is also my pastor, will always say something that you'll be rewarded for 3 things. He's an HR practitioner, right? And he will say something. He said, you will be rewarded in life for 3 things, based on 3 things. Number 1, what you do. Number 2, how well you do it. Number 3, the difficulty of replacing you. And I'm saying this to charge you that, see, all this their skin that you are seeing should not deter you from, aspiring to be where you want to be financially. I got into this country how many years ago? 2 years ago, like I did say. I'd had 15 years financial service experience. Coming into this climate, of course, I knew that things will be done differently. I eventually got a job after like 11 months. And don't be deterred when you get all those rejection, when they are even part of your story, right? It's part of your story that you got over 200 rejection letters before you eventually got your first job. It's just so that you would also be able to encourage somebody else. And I don't know whether there's someone on this call who just needed that push to say, you know what, you were a pro. Like I was the MD of the stockbroking firm of the company I used to work with, because I was a stockbroker. And coming here, you're sending, and he's looking like, I'm like, hey, oh, me. After even doing exams here, right? Money is a reward. And, I said that to say that after working for a year, my husband works basically with his place of work, the headquarters is in Dubai. And so he's always out of the country. Remember I said I have three boys, 2 preteens, in fact, 2 teenagers now and 1 preteen. And I'm passionate about family. I'm passionate where my parenting journey is concerned. And, I just said to myself sometime last year that this job is taking a lot from me. I would like to resign. And guess what? For an organization where I'd only worked 1 year, and they were like, no, we're not going to let you resign. We need you. This is a multinational with presence in Canada, in France, in the United Kingdom. And they said to me, you know what? On your terms, what do you want? I work remotely, but it was stressful being able to handle parenting, my work with God ministry, and every other thing else that I do. It was stressful. But then, you know what? You will be rewarded, like I did say, for 3 things. What you do, how well you do it, the difficulty of replacing you. You can make yourself indispensable, even where you work in the United Kingdom. I said that to let you know. And I said to them, I'll work on my terms. I'm only going to work on Tuesday to Thursdays, 9 a.m. to 3:30. 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. Sorry, so that I'm able to drop my last born in school, and then by 3 o'clock I'm done, so I can pick him by 3:20. Of course, I'll be free from next year, July. I'm counting down, to the time when my last born is out of school, and all 3 of them can sort out they're going to school and coming back. But I said that to say that there are no limits. There are no limits. You must keep evolving as well. And that leads me to my 3rd point. Parents supporting parents in UK. Invest in yourself. Keep evolving. Today's excellence is tomorrow's mediocrity. You cannot come with your UK, Niger, and Dubai, what's it called, certification, and think that is what's going to work for you in the UK. UK is such an economy. It's such an economy. Let me leave it like that in quotes. You've got to understand the culture, how things are done, and how to get into the system to thrive, where your career, your finance, and every aspect of your life is concerned. You must keep evolving, whether it's in your business, I decided to do, you must keep evolving, wanting to know more. When I got here, I didn't say, oh, me, I was a stockbroker, 15 years investment banking experience. Talk about treasury, derivatives, commodities, stock trading, fixed income. I know everything. No, it didn't work for me. I had to go back to class. I had to take courses, CISI. I had to take courses, understand the workings of their financial system and how it works. So you can't just laze about. You've got to upgrade your skill and your competence. You know why I'm saying this? Because your income is your primary, is your major income generating tool. We are talking about building financial foundation. Your income is what you use to build whatever you want to build. right? We are not going to give everybody AK-47 and say, go and shoot people and bring the money. No, it is the skill and competence you have developed, some in Nigeria, wherever it is you're located from, but you've got to now understand how it works here. I had to go through almost a year of understanding, doing exams at different level, right? Just so that I have an understanding of how my industry works. And even when you do that, you've got to keep upskilling yourself. Take those courses, whether it's online, go for that training, just to keep upskilling yourself. Because in life, there are no arrival points. Today's excellence is tomorrow's mediocrity. So keep upskilling yourself, keep evolving. And my last point in my chat to you, parents, supporting parents in UK, you must seek professional advice when you want to invest. And that is one thing I see that is even common in these clients. They have financial advisors. The truth is that the reason why you have made money, that hard-earned money, is so that you can multiply it, not to lose the funds. Right? So you want to invest. There are financial advisors who have been trained, right? You want to invest in stocks, you want to invest in real estate, you want to invest in fixed income instruments, whatever it is, seek the advice of professionals. And this leads me to say, to the motives for holding cash, whatever it is that you do with money, you can categorize it into three. The first is transaction motive. And I'm trying to say this so that you understand when you are trying to build your budget. One of the things I'm going to talk about in the next slide is the BSI model. B standing for budget, S standing for savings, I standing for investing. BSI. Now, I'm just breaking this down so that you understand the B part of where I'm going. Every time you earn as an individual or as a family, be sure that you are providing funds, allocating funds along these three lines. The first is transaction motive. The second is precautionary motive. The third is speculative motive. Transaction motive means that you must allocate funds for your day-to-day expenses and obligations. Things that if you don't have them, they will put you under pressure. In winter, you don't have enough funds to pay for gas. That is pressure. Electricity, council tax, all those must have rents, you already know. There are things you weren't paying for, at least you weren't paying for local government, whatever in Nigeria, but it is a must here. So you must make sure you are allocating your funds. Remember we said to eat those chicken, it's a matter of financial planning. So allocate funds for transaction motive, groceries, shelter, food, things that can put you under pressure if you don't have them. Make sure you allocate funds for those. The second is precautionary motive. You must allocate funds every time towards unforeseen eventualities or what we call emergencies. There's a saying in financial management that you don't wait for a crisis to come up with a crisis plan. If you are on this call, there's something called emergency fund. Before, when you were in Nigeria, you might not need emergency fund. If anything happens, you have family, you have friends. Here, I live in an estate, amazing place. You go outside, you will not see anybody. Everybody is on their own. I'm sure it's almost similar to what obtains wherever you live. You're on your own in this country, which is why I'm saying I love this initiative where we can come together, encourage each other, right? But you must make funds available for precautionary motive, unforeseen eventualities, emergencies. Crisis will not tell you it's coming. So you've got to have a crisis plan. And one of the ways you show that is by having an emergency fund. An emergency fund represents 6 to 12 months of your living expenses. So if as a family, for example, or an individual, you earn £2,000 a month, but all you spend in a month is only £500. In your rent inclusive, everything, all in, everything put together is 500. It is not that £2,000 you earn that is your emergency fund. It is the 500 times 6. In fact, it should be times 12. It should be times 12, so that if anything happens, you know that you are in a psychology, at least in one psychology state where you can confidently and carefully think of what to do, because you know For the next 12 months, I can live. I have my emergency fund, my living expenses. If you earn 1,000 and your living expenses is 6, it means 6 times 6, you must have 3,600 in an account that is easy to access within 24 hours when you have a crisis, because crisis would not give you advance notice that I'm coming on so date. So you don't wait for crisis to prepare for a crisis plan. You must allocate funds towards precautionary expenses. The last is speculative motive. The truth is that money has whatever you earn, and pardon me if you're not a Christian, like my parenting coach will say that just take the Bible as a book, right? Just see this as every time you earn, right? Every time you earn, or let me use the example. So scripture says that God gives bread to the eater and seed to the sower. In every inflow, there's something to eat. There's something to sow back. Remember in Nigeria, Boko Haram could not let people go to the farm, and it was affecting us. At a point, it was close to having a food crisis, because when you eat your seed, it will impact you in the future. So you must set, it's just like having a chicken that is bearing eggs every year or every month or every day, and you're able to eat the egg. Then one day you decide, I'm not satisfied with this egg. Let me just kill the chicken. Once you kill the chicken, that's the end. And that is what most of us do. We don't pay ourselves first. You pay everybody else. You pay the hairdresser that is making your hair. You pay the person who is the grocer when you go to buy groceries. The only thing you pay yourself at the end of the day is what you set aside for yourself. If you finish eating the egg, you are not satisfied. You now go ahead and kill the chicken. That is the end. You have just destroyed your future. And that's what most of us do. We leave nothing for the future. It's not enough. It's not enough. It's not enough. It will never be enough. And one thing I like to say is that if 9/10 of your income is not enough for you to live on, right? So it is that remaining 1/10 that if you don't eat it, something will happen to you. No, it's just about discipline. And that moves me to my next slide that talks about discipline. There are things that the rich know and they do, that the poor, either they don't know or they know, but they don't do. Discipline is important in life, whether it's in parenting or it's in leading your own self, your personal self, your own life. Discipline, self-leadership is very important. And so financial discipline is equally important. Don't be fraudulent where your finance is concerned. It's only a fool who keeps doing the same thing over and over again, but expects a different result. So what are these things that the rich, they do, they know and they do, that helps them where their finance is concerned? I call them the secrets of or financially intelligent individuals, or the secret of financially intelligent families. The first one, remember I said it's called BSI model. BSI, budget, save, invest, right? Because they are just simple things that, makes all the difference where our finance is concerned. The first is budgeting. A budget is simply a statement of your income and your expenses. For most of us who have ever worked in corporate organizations, you know that, in fact, towards the end of the year, you will hear it in Nigeria, channels news everywhere. Oh, the budget is this. Even in UK, you will hear this is the budget, blah, 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 for the year. Countries of the world and companies, they don't start spending until they are past their budget. As an individual, do you pass your budget? As a family, do you pass your budget, or you just spend falafolo anyhow? If you earn 2,000 pounds and you don't put paper to pen to say, oh, okay, this is what I'll spend on this. Okay, these are all that we need. You calculate and everything is 2,500 pounds. You already know you don't have 2,500. A rational human being begins to cut out and ration. Begin to cut. Oh, this can wait for next month. This can wait for next quarter. No, this one I cannot send money home. Oh, this one. At the end of the day, it's 2,000 you earn pounds. But without putting pen to paper, you will be stuck. Like the people we described in the chicken experience, who will move from eating chicken to eating maize and millet, and then walking about like the chicken. Are you a chicken? Walking about, wandering, no aim, aimlessly, no plan, no goal. Where your finance is concerned, you've got to take charge. And so What a budget does is to tell your money where to go instead of you wondering where your money has gone. If countries of the world and companies, right, if they prioritize budgeting, it means that there is something very important about this financial management tool, right? So you got to budget as a family. Do you know you earn 2,000 and you see that 2005 is the total of your expenses? You begin to cut it. You can cut it up to 1,200, and add you that you would have spent 2005 and be stuck middle of the month. You now have extra just because of one discipline called budgeting, putting paper to pen. And there's a link which I'll send to Atinuke. It's used in the United Kingdom. It was set up by Step Change. Step Change is a debt management company, right? So they have a budget template, which I'll share with Atinuke. Atinuke, please, when I say I'm sharing something with you, please remind me, just take notes. I'm also going to be taking notes here. So I'm going to be sending you the budget template for everyone. All you need to do is to put in the figures. It generates your figures and sends it to you via email. The second thing I'm going to send are the 6 types of accounts that everyone in the United Kingdom should have. I have all 6 of them. I saw it online yesterday and I smiled that this was meant for my session today. And so I'm going to be sending that as well. And next, we've spoken about budgeting as a financial management, as one of the tools or the secrets of financially intelligent individuals and family. The second is S. Now, one of my all-time favorite book on personal finance is the book called Richest Man in Babylon. If you can review it as a group, it will be amazing. I run an academy where we are currently reviewing that. It's a paid subscription academy where we hold people. We have 52 tools for the entire year, 1 tool per year. Your finance cannot be the same at the end of that year. I'm not here to sell that. Of course, Atinuke is a member of the team. So savings, and there are just 2 quotes I want to bring out from that book because, you know, this stands out every time. The first is that a part of all you earn is yours to keep. Like I said, the minimum standard in personal finance or financial management is 10%. What your 9/10 cannot do, it is not that want. It would look as if I just touch this one this month. Every month, once you pop, you can't stop. If you continue, you will continue to take that 9/10. And what 9/10 cannot do, 1/10 will still not do. Always imagine, like, where your financial management is concerned is like you have eggs every year, every month, yielding for you. You finish eating the egg, you are not satisfied, you kukuma kill the chicken. I'm sorry for saying kukuma, but most of us are Nigerians, so you understand what I'm trying to say. So that is what it is. The second one says pay yourself first. I gave that analogy saying every time you buy something from your salary, the salary is £2,000. You pay the grocer when you go to buy the grocery. You pay the fuel attendant when you go fill up gas in your car. You pay the person that makes your hair, hairdresser. You pay everybody else. You even go to African store, you pay them. What do you give to yourself at the end of the day? That is self-love. You have no regard for yourself, no honor, nothing put aside. It must be about others. I must show myself. And someone said something. He said, we spend our money buying things that we don't need so that we can, how does he put it? Can anyone please remind me? So that we can, let me use the word.
Press people.
Yeah, so that we can pepper people who are not even looking at us, right? So you've got to put something aside for yourself every month. Trust me, even if you earn £500, start from somewhere. That £500, just say to yourself that, this 10%, I'm not going to touch it. I'm not. Because even if I don't need it, I'm still going to have it, right? Even if I don't, okay, let's assume. So I consult for an organization and back in Nigeria. And that's why I will be talking also about passive income. So when I remember some things, I'll just say it. So I left Nigeria, and that is why I'm saying that when you work here, right, don't forget, let me use the quote, don't forget the child of who you are. From where we are all coming from, we know the kind of culture we have where work is concerned. We're hardworking. We don't laze about. I joined an organization, about 13 of us joined. I'm the only one standing today, over a year plus after I started the organization. And I said to my husband, I said, out of 13 of us, the last 3 standing were Africans. 2 Nigerians and 1 Zimbabwean. Of course, eventually the remaining 2 left. I'm the only one left there, right? But I said that to say that you must have a passive source of income. The fact that you are working here, if, for example, you are an accountant and you work here, maybe you work with, I don't know, whatever it is, you can also have a passive source of income, whether back home or even here, something extra that you can do that gives you extra. Because you know how things work here. Someone said to me that, PP, that the way things work here, it's like you earn the money and they want to take it up in bills. Like I said, you don't pay council tax where we are coming from. Gas, electricity, you do it at your own pace, but some things are major here. Your rent is a major expense. So you got to factor all of those out in. And one of the things you need to also know is that your income will seldom exceed your personal development. I'll say that again. Income will seldom exceed personal development. So you've got to be consistently evolving and developing yourself. Secondly, you should have a passive source of income. Never, Warren Buffett said something. He said, never depend on one single source of income. Make plans to have a second source. You're an accountant. You are here. You are working for an organization. Your Saturday and Sunday, all you want to do is sleep. Use that part of that time to maybe there's a startup in Nigeria or anywhere else here or whatever that you can help them to structure or prepare their reports. And because you are preparing their reports, it's a win-win situation. You are earning additional income as passive income aside from your primary productive activity. They also are winning because they don't have to spend money to get a full-time accountant, becoming a win-win situation. Atinuke shared something that she got with myself. So many things, affiliate banking, freelancing job on platforms such as Fiverr, Upwork. Do something extra where your finance is concerned because you can't afford, especially in these times. You know what pound is? To stay with just one source of income. Make plans to have a second source, no matter how little. It will cover something. A little progress. And when saving, there's a saying that the best time to have planted a tree was maybe how many years ago? The next best time is now. Where savings is concerned, let's assume you've not even saved anything. A little progress each day is what adds up to big results. Starting from saying, you know what, from this month, I'll be putting 50 pounds. No matter what, I'll put 50 pounds. 50 pounds times 12 is 600 pounds. Some people, that's their rent for a month. Is starting somewhere, not saying it's too small. Start where you are. Little drops of water makes a mighty ocean. I hope I've been able to convince you that of the need to save. And in savings, I spoke about passive income, having extra. I spoke about emergency fund, right? Having at least minimum 6 to 12 months of your living expenses as an individual or family. You're on your own, no. Nobody is have anybody's time. Open your door like this. There is no neighbor outside or anybody making you are on your own. So you've got to make sure that you have a financial caution just for cases of crisis or for crisis management in the future. The third of the model, BSI, remember, is investing. Investing is simply the science of multiplying your funds. There's something called the eighth wonder of the world. It's called compounding. Like I use the analogy of the chicken and the egg. Don't finish eating the chicken and kill the egg. In fact, when it yields, do something about the egg to make sure that the earnings from your return, you are putting it back to earn more money. So I invest 100 pounds. 100 pounds give me 10 pounds. It looks small. Let me just eat it. No, add that 10 pounds to the 100 pounds. Meaning when next you want to invest, you are investing 110 pounds. Even if it's the same rate of 10%, it means your money will continue to grow. Don't eat the proceeds of your returns. Be careful with compounding. Investing is a game of buying low and selling high. So I can't say because everybody is buying stocks, I want to buy ISA. And in investing, remember the principle of diversification. Warren Buffett describes that as don't put all your eggs in one basket. He also says, don't test the depth of a river with both feet. You want to go to swimming pool. You now put, I'm sorry, I said you want to go to swimming pool. You are at the swimming pool. You want to test you want to know if this is the deep end of the pool. Are you going to put your 2 legs and tread? You will put one leg okay, that deep, this like this one is deep. Then you put it out and say, no, this is the deep end, this is the shallow end. You know, so it's important that we understand that, see, investing is the top secret of financially intelligent individuals, and you must diversify. You can diversify across countries. I, as an individual, I've made more money in Nigeria than I've made even in the United Kingdom since I got here over 2 years ago. Right? And whatever you want to invest in, you should have an idea, at least basic knowledge. Don't invest in what you don't understand. There are 3 types of knowledge where investing is concerned. Number 1 is basic knowledge. Number 2 is intermediate. And number 3 is expert knowledge, right? Basic knowledge means I want to invest in stock and shares ISA. How does it even work? I want to invest in treasury bill or bonds. What is it? I want to invest in LISA, lifetime investment savings account. How does it work? At least have basic knowledge of what you want to invest in, so that if there's any information that is going to affect that instrument or that investment, you know, and you're able to take position to say, it's time to get out because I have knowledge. And the third thing, or the fourth thing, which the wealthy do where their finance is concerned, that stands them out, is consistency. The rich don't just budget, save, and invest. They budget, save, and invest consistently. Someone is here saying, you want us to budget? Okay, well, I've budgeted, have saved, now investing. What can I invest in? There are quite a number of things you can invest in. So remember that I said I'm a stockbroker, and I've made money more in Nigerian market than I've made here. Of course, in investing out of UK, it's important to also be very careful the kind of funds. So there are 2 basic type of funds. Let me come with that. There's what we call pressure capital, and there's what we call patient capital. Patient capital is money that I don't need for a while. I know that 3 years, 2 years, 5 years, I don't need this money. That is patient capital. Pressure capital is money that I might need anytime, like money for my rent, or my son is going to university and I'm going to need to pay his fees. That is pressure capital. Those are not the kind of capital you can put in long-term investment. So we have long-term investment, we have short-term investment. So patient capital can be put in long-term investment, while pressure capital should be put in short-term investment, because every money must be yielding. You've gone in this cold, this winter, out of your house wearing only God knows how many underlay plus winter jackets and hand gloves, socks, and everything. You now make the money at the end of the month. That money must be making, it must be multiplying itself. That is investing. The money, you must squeeze the best out of that funds. That is what investing is all about. And as a round off, I want you to picture, I have an orange, right? I have an orange. That orange, I peel it and I cut it into 2, and then I give 2 individuals. Let me see names of people on this course so that I can use one name. So I cut this orange, I give 1/2 to Charles, I give the other half to Chidiebere. I give the half I give to Charles. Charles sucks out this, he squeezes the juice out of the orange and then trashes it. Why Chidiebere squeezes the juice, turns it inside out. You know how we do it in Nigeria. Turns it inside out. Eats the rough edges. It now has the other outer part, then trashes it. On this call, please tell me who has maximized that orange that I gave to them. I'm waiting for your chats. The second person, thank you, Samuel Ijoma, thank you, thank you. Chidiebere maximized it. That is how you must maximize, yes, the person that turned it inside out, thank you. That is how you must maximize returns out of your money. Don't go to make money. You wear several underlay, you wear winter jackets, wear head, what's that one? What do we call this now? The one you on our head. Wear gloves, you go and walk. For some of us, we are starting from, what's it called, warehouse job, whatever. There's dignity in labor. At least start from somewhere. Yes, thank you, Samuel. Ed warmer. Yejide, thank you. We wear head warmer, wear everything. In this code, you go and do all the work. Then the money will not be sitting down in savings account. Not on this call. No member or parents supporting parents in the UK should just leave money in the bank savings account. No, and then earn how much? 1%. For what? That money must wear his own head warmer, wear his own gloves. That money, you must squeeze the best out of it. So someone is saying, what can I invest in? There are quite a number of things. And the truth is that when you want to invest, it's just like a doctor. If you have 3 people who approaches a medical doctor, same symptom, all 3 of them have fever, right? Their temperature is very high. They all have fever. And at the end of the day, we run a test on all 3 individuals, right? We run a test on all these 3 individuals. For one person, it might just be malaria. Let's assume they live in the tropics, Nigeria. It might just be malaria. For the second person, it might be malaria and typhoid, right? For the third person, it might just be stress. The person only needs to go to the spa for a massage, eat balanced diet, watch a movie, and just relax all day. Even me, myself, I still did it today. I did not, my children were wondering, what's wrong with mommy? She's still inside the room at 11. Mommy, I knew that my body needed it. Right? So these are 3 individuals presenting the same symptom of fever, but at the end of the day, the test showed different results. And this result is what is going to determine the prescription we give to them. So at any point in time you want to invest, it's important. One of the things we ask, I see myself, I'd always wanted to be a medical doctor. I'm sharp up there. I'm just joking, right? But at some point while I was growing up, I knew I could not stand the sight of blood. I couldn't. So I knew I needed a career switch. And that is why I'm a doctor where personal finance is concerned. When you want to invest, we can have 3 people who want to invest 100 pounds or 1,000 pounds. We're not going to say everybody who has 1 million pounds, 1,000 pounds, go and invest in this. Everybody who has 100 pounds, go and invest in this. No. Remember, we started all by saying personal finance or family finance is a personal concept. It is personal to you. We can be working in the same office, be on the same level, earn the same amount, but our situations are different, and those personal circumstances will determine what we are asking you to invest. The first thing we want to know is your investment objective. What exactly do you want to achieve? Someone is saying, I'm saving this money for my first house. You need to go and look for LISA, Lifetime Investment Savings Account. It's for 2 purposes, either to buy your first home in the UK or for retirement. The first time you can access the fund is about age 55. You can only set up a LISA if you are between age 18 and 39. After 40, you are not able to. The beauty of this is that you will then earn 25%. So before the cutoff of UK's end of financial year in April, if you put 1,000 on the 1st of April, 1,000 pounds in your LISA account, you are earning a clean 25%. The maximum you can put every year is 4,000 pounds. So if you put 4,000 pounds in that account, right, it means you're getting 1,000, 25%, a whooping 25%. That money you can access it to build, to get your first home or at retirement. I usually would advise for people who want to use it to get their first home is one of the highest interest rates you can actually get. So you see, that is someone's investment objective. The second thing we are going to ask you as a doctor. So the first is, what do you want to achieve? Someone says, I want to buy my first home. Go and do LISA. The second thing we are going to ask is your risk appetite. We are going to ask questions to say, just like for some of us that are mothers or fathers on the call, yes, free money, Ijoma, yes, free money, free 25%, as long as you're going to be using it for retirement, is a good way to save for retirement as well. So I encourage, even if you've had your first home, just save it, and anytime, just put money there. Even if it's 50 pounds, you know you've opened it. I couldn't open because I was 40 in my mind of mind. I said, me, I'm going back to Nigeria. Once I'm done, I'm just in this country for how many years? So I clocked 40 just before, just about the time, I just couldn't open it anyways, but it's a good one. My junior brother, for example, used it and he was able to use it to buy his first house, which he moved into sometime last year. So that's investment objective. The first thing we're going to be asking you. The second is your risk appetite. If you're on this call, you have ever have a kid or you're a father and you have a wife and you've been involved with labor, you know that there's something called pain threshold. The kind of pain one person can take is different from what another person is. That is what risk appetite is in investment. How much pain or can I take? Someone can have 100 pounds. And from that 100 pounds, he is willing to invest it in something that is high risk, like shares, to say, you know what, I can invest in a variable income asset class, right? But I don't mind this 100 pounds, sorry. I don't mind whether it goes to 1,000 pounds or it comes to £1. I'm a risk taker, so I'm willing to. Someone else can have 10,000 pounds and £1, he cannot afford to lose £1. So what pain is to a woman in labor, I'm trying to explain it, is what risk is to a person who is investing. And there are three types of investors where risk is concerned. Some people are risk averse. They cannot lose. They don't like taking risk with their funds. Secondly, some people are moderate risk. They can take a bit of risk. Some people are risk takers. They don't care. They can put all their funds in shares, in variable income asset class. And that's one thing I'll also explain. There are variable income asset classes where when you invest in them, things like commodities, shares, real estate, the price, forces of demand and supply determines their price, right? So it implies that for those kind of instruments, right? For those kind of instruments, it therefore implies that what you get is depending on the movement of share prices. You can invest 1,000, it means that you can get less than the amount you have invested. And you can also get a lot more. So one example I tried to make, sometime last year, I started buying the shares of Transcorp in Nigeria, Transcorporation, which is into hospitality. They are also into power at less than £1. At £1, I bought more. Sometime March last year, I bought at £3. The share price of Transcorp rose from £3 to £19. And I sold and made good money, millions. There's no exchange rate that is going to that could have wiped off the return I made. So because I am aware, which is why I say you must have knowledge. So we have three types of risk: risk averse, moderate risk, and risky individuals. We must be able to locate where you stand. The third thing is we want to know the tenure of your funds. How long are you investing for? Is it short term or long term or medium term? Right? We need to know. Remember, I spoke about variable income asset class. There's also fixed income asset class. With fixed income asset class, that's when you invest in things like fixed income, high yield savings accounts, bonds, treasury bills. Most of those are tax efficient, means you don't pay tax on those. So with those kind, you know from the beginning how much you're earning. If they say it's 5%, that 5% is what you get. You will not get one couple extra. But if you invest in shares, like I did say, shares of £3, £2, by the time I did the average is like £2. I bought something at £2, I sold it at 19, and I had hundreds of thousands of those. So the third thing we want to know, first is investment objective, second is your risk appetite, and then the third is your tenure. How long are you investing for? The last thing we want to know before we make a prescription for you, remember that I said that being a financial coach or a financial advisor is like being a doctor. Number one, investment objective is what we want to know. Second is risk appetite. Third is the tenure of your money. Is it pressure capital or patient capital? And the last thing we want to know is your age and stage of life. If you are 30-something or 20-something on this call, in terms of age, the kind of instruments we'll be asking you to invest in will tilt towards something that is more risky, so that the higher the risk, that is what we say in investment. The higher the risk, the higher the return. And you can take calculated risk. That is what we do with information, right? So we want to know your age and stage of life. For someone who is in his 50s, we're not going to be telling him to be investing in so much of risky assets, because he's in a stage of life where he should be consolidating on the gains and returns which he has made. I move to my final point, or my final slide. And these are all sayings from an amazing man called Warren Buffett. It says on earnings, never depend on a single income. Make investment to create a second source. That is passive income, which I spoke about. On spending, if you buy what you do not need, soon you will have to sell what you need. That talks about the need to budget. On savings, it says, do not save what is left after spending, but spend what is left after savings. Still has to do with financial planning in place of budgeting, making sure you save, pay yourself something. And the last is on taking risk on investment. It says, do not test the depth of a river with both feet. Do not put all your eggs in one basket. This speaks to the need to diversify your investment. Thank you for having me, everyone, on this platform, Parents Supporting Parents in United Kingdom. I hope you've been able to get insights from what you heard on the platform today. If you heard anything at all, be sure to put it in the comments. Let's see what you learned today. Thank you for having me. Over to you, Atinuke.
Hey, PP, you gave us plenty backboost this afternoon. Thank you so much for your time. Guys, I'm sure that it was a real value for our time. Please, are you able to take few questions?
Yes, I'll be able to take some. My boys
Okay.
around, they need me. So
Sorry, guys. So I think yeah, you talked about Lisa. Someone asked about Lisa. Once we are over 40, I'm sorry I cannot participate.
Yes, once you are over 40, you can't do a Lisa. What you can now think of doing, you've missed that. Like I did give my own example in my mind. I'm like, my husband just came to study. Me, I'm going back to Nigeria. Sorry about my Nigeria and the way I'm, me, I did not jackpot. I always say, but so once you miss that window, you can't have access to a Lisa. But even if you bought your first home, just keep putting little money in Lisa. You know that retirement, you still have your 25%. The other thing you can do will be in ISA, stock and share ISA. With stock and share ISA, you have five different options. So you can do on the lower end where the risk is not so adverse, or you can do on the moderate end. So what I did is level 3 in my investment and savings account. So it's a monthly deduction that they make from my account. I know the day I get paid. So they deduct the money and they invest it on my behalf. That is a variable income asset class. So I don't care. At times I'm looking at it every day. You see the value drop, you see the value go up. It depends on the forces of demand and supply. And that depends on the number of factors depending on sentiments and how well the companies they've invested in are doing. So I think that's the only other option. You can also invest in high yield savings accounts. There's one I do. It's about 5.7%. The truth is, see, there's something called developed or countries, and there's what we call frontier economies. Frontier economies or emerging economies are places like Nigeria. There's nothing wrong with our market. It's just that our markets are not as efficient. There's something we call in economics market efficiency. So our markets are not yet as efficient as these developed countries. So that is why I'm saying to you that I make more money. I can't put 10,000 pounds in. I put 10,000 pounds in an account and it's using 5.7%. That's 570 pounds. What can that one do for me? Like over the long run. And remember that it has to be at a rate higher than inflation. If not, all we said today is nothing, right? So you must be investing at a rate higher than inflation. But what do? I invest in clients like Nigeria, maybe also because I'm a stockbroker and that's what I've done. I have knowledge of the market, not just that market. There's something about awareness. There's something about knowledge. There's something about information. Where you put your money to, that's where your heart should be. So you can invest using Bamboo for US stocks, right? And they will give you some knowledge about, stock recommendation and all the like. You must be looking beyond one economy. And that is what we said about diversification. It is still what I have on the claim. I've made massive return investing in stocks like Transcorp, GT, Zenith, UBA, right? Those are some of my topics, and that's in Nigeria because, yes, I still consult for an organization. So I work for the organization for over 9 years. I was going to relocate, and the moment I was going to relocate, the group MD, so the company rose from having just one subsidiary to 9 subsidiaries. It used to be called GTB Asset Management Firm. It's GTB Asset Management, now called Investment One. And at the time I was leaving, August 2021, the board of the organization said, we want an investment education initiative. The group MD who who owns the organization after we pulled off from GT Bank then said, you know what, I know you do this, you talk about it, this is what you're passionate about. I've not seen you do it before, but I know that this is what you do in the organization. As in outside of what you do with the organization, I speak for churches because I'm particular about kingdom financing. That must I must say, you know, I speak for organizations, corporate organizations, and I make money. I take my leave from work and I do all of those things by the side. So I'm saying that to say that don't forget that you also have to have a passive source of income, whether in UK or not. Make sure you have something extra. And then I started consulting from them. So the moment I landed, 21st August 2021, 2 weeks later, I already had my letter. 1st of September, I started consulting. I started consulting for the organization I worked for 9 years. 9 good years, and I was paid from the get-go more than I was earning as a full-time staff. I had time to settle my kids into school. My husband was in school doing his own thing. I had time settling my 3 kids into the system, and I was just doing few hours a day, or at times I can decide to do all my work in a day, and I had the free time to settle into the system. And by the time I got a job in UK, I was like, okay, I'm done. And they're like, there's nobody that will take this from you. Remember, we spoke about being indispensable. You'll be rewarded for what you do, how well you do it, and the difficulty of replacing you. Don't mind all these, their color of skin. Go prove yourself. They will find it difficult to replace you, you know. So I thought to say that. Yeah, so investing in Nigeria, it depends on what you want to do. You need also to know that you have to have, someone is asking a question, can we get more information on investment in Nigeria? The basic investments I do in Nigeria is stocks and real estate. Real estate, because it's also a variable income asset class, but economics 101, factors of production, one of them is land. Land will always appreciate in value. It's something you should also try to do here, because you don't want to be earning in Naira and be spending in pounds. So a certain percentage of your funds that you know is, remember we spoke about pressure and patient capital. Pressure capital, you can, and patient capital, you can invest back home and earn much more. Like I said, at the moment, the Nigerian equity market returned 40% last year. Do I see us returning 40? At some point earlier in the month, it was 30-something% we had returned. The market is correcting. I will be going back to the market personally around April, May, but even at that, I'm going to be looking at what the market is doing. So shares, whether using Bamboo to buy US shares or Nigerian stock exchange, buying equities, those will be it for me.
Okay, so someone is asking investment types for a low risk taker.
Yeah, so there are many investments you can do for a low risk person. Of course, you don't want to put a lot in equities. Like I said, even if you do stock and share ISA, there's a low risk bit where the quantity that they invest in variable assets is very low. So you can still do stock and share ISA, but just opt for like number 1, which is the very low risk. The second is you can put your funds in investments, vehicles like the high yield savings account. If you go to your banking app, whether it's Lloyd, HSBC, or the likes of Monzo and the likes, you'll see an investment column where you can click and see different type of investment. So you can invest also in gilts, which is what we call bonds back home. Gilts is like you're lending funds to the government, right, to run the budget. So it is a fixed income instrument like buying gilts, GILTS, or bonds. That's what it's called. So you can buy bonds. If you're low risk, you can buy stock and share ISA, but opt for the lowest risk. You can invest in fixed income instruments. Some of them lock in for 1 year. You can get as much as 6%, 7%. So Lisa, just Google online UK lifetime investment savings account. I'm sure Atinike can help. Someone is asking Lisa accounts link. If you Google it, you'll see it's online, UK Gov. Even on your banking app, and that's one of the things I like, you can always on your banking app be able to see all of those investments. I use HSBC. HSBC, if you click on investments, you will see Lisa as one of it. For most of the banking apps, just look for investments, click on it, you'll see Lisa as one of the options there. And I'm sure Atinike can help you come up.
I think some UK banks have stopped Lisa. I know Halifax doesn't do anymore.
Oh, really? HSBC still does it.
So I'm going to share a link for, I can recommend one that I currently use. I can recommend that. I'll drop the link. Hey, someone asked a question. Okay, so Pipi, do you want to talk about your mentorship group? Is it still
Okay,
open?
all right. So we have, all right, let me say about 7 years ago, when I started the initiative, we did have a group. So I have a group, which is the general group for with over 260 something people. It's called Money Matters with Presh. Presh being my, what do I call it now? Nickname. All right, Presh being my nickname. My name is actually Ayode Joshideko, but people call me Presh. Even my father now calls me Presh. Presh was a name given to me in the university by my university school father, who happens to also still live in United Kingdom. I said, this sister is precious to me. You know, was a mentor, and everybody just started coming Presh. So Money Matters with Presh, we have over 260 people. It's not so active at the moment because I've also just, at times you have to reprioritize. I relocated to United Kingdom. I have kids, I have church, I have home ministry, I have different aspects of my life. And, you know, churning out information there, you want to be sure that it's the information that people are actually using. So sometime last year, we started what we call the Millionaire Challenge. We believe that it's an academy. It's a 52-week academy. And one of the things we try to do, you have access to an e-journal so that you can journal your journey, your successes, the quote of the week, the book review of the week, whatever it is, the insight that you're gaining, corrective actions that you need to take. So it's a 52-week journey, which we started in January. Yes, people keep joining. And one of the things, because I had to ask, should I just close the door? Because as far as I was concerned, 2 weeks into the academy, one of the things we've done is to set the foundation upon which you're going to build everything as far as your financial journey is concerned. But one of the things I heard is that the day a person wakes up in their morning, some people are going to wake up in August where their finances is concerned, and that is when they want to put structure. We are open. It's just that you need to catch up with whatever we've done in the month of January, because January was very important to us as far as the academy is concerned. And it just for a token, it's 10 pounds. Yeah. For those in the UK, it's 10,000 naira for those in Nigeria. So either you opt out for one or the other. What we can do depending on the number of people. So prior to now, we have over almost 40 people on the group. One of the things we did was then to come up with, so what are the things you get to benefit from being a part of the group? You have 52-week personal finance activity tasks, and for every task of the week, you get an objective so that you understand why we are asking you to do what you need to do. You also put a voice note to it to let you know the reason why this thing has to be done. Even if you're busy, with a voice note of 2-3 minutes, you can put an earpiece in even at work and listen to it. I do that a lot of time right from my Nigerian days, because information is critical, where financial information is critical to financial prosperity. You've got to be doing things differently for you to be able to excel where your finances is concerned. Access to e-journal, access to 52 weeks task as well. We have a quote of the week where the participants themselves, they go on to research. So there are times my son asks me, Mommy, what is this? And I say, oh, why not research it? And then you come tell us. So it was self-leadership we talked about. They had to, you know, Google about this week, and they must research it and come and tell me. So in that process, they can't forget it because they did some sort of research. So we have participants do quotes of the week and the book review for the week. And that happens during the course of the week. You also have MPR, what we call monthly performance reporting, where you have one-on-one session with either of our coaches. I have 2 friends, but because at the moment I'm able to still handle what we have, right? I have 2 other people. We all join together and we have one-on-one session with people. There's a concept in management called control. It means that you set an objective for yourself, but at regular intervals, you take a pause and you say to yourself, where am I in the scheme of things? What are the things that are working for me? These things are the things I should focus on. And so before the end of time, you're able to take corrective actions and you know what are the things that are working for you. This principle of control is what we try to do by having monthly performance review one-on-one with each person based on the annual financial goals that they have set for the year. So that will be it for me. Tinuke has the details for the group. I can send over the PowerPoints we did for those who are just trying to catch up. If we have a lot of people who are trying to catch up, it implies we'll set up, you will join the main group, but we'll set up a catch-up group where everyone has to do the first 4 weekly tasks. for them to catch up and then continue. While they're catching up, they must continue with the group. You have access to the induction recording, access to all the quotes and the recordings, all the book review and the recording, and you have to do your task. So that'll be all from me. If there's no more question, Atunike.
Wow, wow, woo, woo. Thank you so much once again, PP.
No, it's not £10 per month. It's for the year.
For the year, for the year.
It's a
I mean,
gift
it's
for
just a commitment fee. It's not, you can't
yeah.
compare that money to what you get. You can't compare it at all. So
Yeah.
it's just a commitment fee. Just
Yeah. Purpose, like
lastly,
I did say, was that we had 260-something group, a group with over 260-something people, and we just wanted to know those who are really willing to take their financial journey to another level. Remember that I said I consult for an organization. What everyone on the group pays is what I earn from 1 month in the organization I consult for is way in excess of this. So this is just a commitment. For this year, all that I've heard is to give it out as a gift. I don't know what will happen next year if we're going to review the gifts, but it's just for the year. So that's all. If we have enough of people joining, we have to create a WhatsApp group where we'll be doing all the tasks for the entire year. For everyone who joined after we started, they had to have their personal catch-up session done. Thank you.
yay. Thank you so much, PP. So what we do is, so this program is organized by the Parents Supporting Parents in the UK. I know there are quite a number of people here that are not part of the group. So if you would like to join, so most of the other information we have will actually be posted on that group. But if you would like to join the group, if you scroll through the chat, I think someone has posted the link. The link has been posted several times actually, but let me quickly drop it again in case. And if you are joining, you have to join with your UK number. I mean, it's just for security purpose. So if you want any other information, maybe joining the academy with Pastor Fresh. Oh, thank you, Joma. If you are joining the academy with Pastor Fresh, sorry, I call her Pastor Fresh. With PP, all the information will be posted there. The recording of this session too will be posted there. And if you like to reach out to our one-to-one too, I mean, you can talk to me too. But join the group so you can have access to every other information that you need. So once again, thank you so much, PP, for doing this. We are very, very grateful. On behalf of every member of Parents Supporting Parents in the UK, we say thank you. So Parents Supporting Parents, what we do basically, you know, like you said earlier, UK can be lonely at times. So we created that as a community to support other parents. So we have several conversations on education, investment. So once we have a pending issue that has been discussed for a long time, what we do is just reach out to a consultant or a specialist in that field to deliver like a session on that, and you know, just to enlighten us. I mean, information is power in the UK. There are so many things that we didn't know you have access to, but until you listen or hear someone say about it, then when people have personal issues, my child is not eating well, you can post on the group and you definitely have someone to give you one advice or the other. So basically that's what we do. It's a community, we support one another, and our values are respect, empathy, trust. I mean, just helping one another. That's just basically what we do. So if you are interested, if it looks like something you would love to be a part of, please go to the chat box. You can join the link. You can only join with a UK number. I'm sure the admin will accept your request once you get it. I also posted a link for a Lisa account that I currently use that I can recommend. And you can pay in as little as £25 every month. So, I mean, just start. That's just the best. And if you're going to clock 40 very soon, this is the best time. I mean, you need to sign up like today, because once you hit that 40 mark, you're unable to open the account. So you have to do what you have to do now. What else? Any other question, you can drop it on the main group, then I'll pass it on to PP and get the response. So once again, thank you all for your time. Thank you all for joining. PP, I'm so grateful. You want to say something?
Yes, so I sent you the link which I promised, the 2 things I promised. So the 6 accounts that you should have if you are in the United Kingdom, I sent that to you already. Then the step change portal for budget templates, I already sent to you, just so you can show it to your people. Thank you everyone once again. Thank you everyone once again for having me. It was my pleasure being here with you. Do take care. Go ahead and win where your finances are concerned. I look forward to hearing amazing things that you're doing with respect of your finances. And in this land, we are going to take it. We are here to make the goal.
Yes,
Take care. Bye,
so
everyone. Do take care.
bye. Bye.
Bye.
I'll share the
Take
template.
the budget
I'll
templates.
share everything. I'll share everything on the main group. So
Bye.
we meet on the group. Thank you so much, everyone. Thanks for joining and see ya later. Bye. Bye. Bye.